Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of almost international rugby. South Africa A will be in action up against the Zimbabweans, a side that have qualified for the Rugby World Cup. They want to start getting a few more big matches under their belt, and the South Africa A side is certainly a mix of experience as well as a few of the younger, up-and-coming talented players. But one thing is for sure, it should be fast-paced and a very entertaining curtain raiser, as they've called it, for the South Africa Barbarians game just around the corner. Looking through at the starting lineups for South Africa A, again, there are a few of the guys who have been in that Springbok environment recently, but then also some guys who have also been in that under-20s side just very recently too. Brian Fenter in the front row alongside Nebelele as the two. That is a guy who did win the championship in the under-20s for South Africa last year. And then Nedeling Forshare, he will slot in as the 3, make up what is a very strong front row. Up front, Vincent Tichuke will be playing in the 4 jersey with Ruben van Heeren starting in at 5, Emmanuel Tichuka at 6, Klakane at 7, and Pepsi Buthelezi then starting in as that number 8. So they have gone with a couple Lions players in there, and then also, of course, what you see from Pepsi Buthelezi is always something impressive. In fact, actually 2 Sharks players now, of course, Emmanuel Tichuka and Vincent both at the Sharks currently. In the back line, Hasim Peed getting the starting opportunity, something that didn't actually happen too often during the Lions season. Ahmed at 10, Siyaya out on the left wing, Lukanyoam and Marcus Miller make up the midfield, and then Jaco Williams out on the right with Guilherme as at number 15. We have got the how you doing today, says Jaco. Doing very well. Excited for all the rugby that we have got coming up. This one as well as the contest later on between the Barbarians and South Africa, whereas this game, it has taken place at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, so the same location as we actually saw the Under-20s Rugby Championship happening, where the Under-20 box, of course, A will get themselves the title. We have got the good morning all, says Arnold in there. And first for the live stream, pre-chatters don't count, says Tanner. And also we have got the how you been, Hamish? I've been all right. Super Rugby final didn't quite live up to expectations. I was hoping for a close game between those two sides, but sadly that was not what we got. We actually got the most one-sided final we have ever seen in Super Rugby. In the URC, it was a one-sided game too, so I really hope we get at least a close game here, or the Barbarians-South Africa match can be a bit closer than some of those other results. Klakane, Rasiank, Messon, around with the future generation, says Tanner too. Yeah, there are a lot of the young guys, even the guys off the bench as well. You look through the likes of an Amar Khan, or sorry, not Amar Khan, it looks of a Jorenzo Julius, Liam van Wyk as well, Ollie Reid. These guys who have only recently had a chance for the under-20s are now thrown in the deep end up against what is a pretty handy looking Zimbabwean team. We have got their any game tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, I guess you could say that the Barbarians versus South Africa game is tomorrow, seeing as it is kicking off after midnight. And we have to get hoping for someone to cheer about, or hoping for something to cheer about today after their Bulls game, says Robert. And how's it, Hamish from St. Francis Bay? They're showing it in the UK? Sadly not. I think the only way to watch this game is actually on Super Sport. Other than that, there aren't really any other broadcasting options. 65-7 is Henry's prediction, but we will go through the Zimbabwean starting lineup. It is Victor Mpunga, in the front row alongside Marioma and also Huinji as the number 3. I will mention this will be my first game ever covering a Zimbabwean match, so there'll be a few roughnesses in the pronunciation, but hopefully we'll start to get them right by the time they reach that World Cup that has taken place, of course, in 2027. Gary Porter, one of the 2 in the locking duo. Now, he is one that I think for a lot of people who aren't familiar with Zimbabwean rugby, they will be aware of what that man can do. He can probably, I want to say, well, he can't probably, he has to control the line out here. 11 Zimbabwe is rapid. They've got some pace across this lineup, and they've also got a couple key factors in this lineup. Tino Tenda Mavaseri, a lot of people will know what that man has been able to do for the Sharks. Throughout the last little while, he has partnered with Saraha and Utiti in terms of the loose forwards. And then also their captain, Marariki, in that number 9 jersey. We have got there, I'm done ever watching the Chiefs, so I don't go games live, same stuff, different year. Says just better than you. Yeah, and this one, like, don't get me wrong, the Chiefs have been on a bad run in terms of finals in Super Rugby and whatnot, but that was their worst performance I think I've ever seen them play. Going to stream the Wires tomorrow? Don't think so. Not that I know of anyway. What time are they playing? They're playing at 4 p.m. I may still be golfing at that stage with a couple of the other Kiwi lads. Yeah, there you go, watch live. Says Killian, so your best option to be able to watch this game live is on Super Sport. So, yeah, that will be the one that you got to do if you do want to watch this one. And it is kicking off in just 10 minutes' time as well. South Africa A versus the Sables. Just want to quickly look through at Zimbabwe's upcoming Rugby World Cup fixtures as well. 1 second, we'll scroll down. International Rugby, that's the one we're after. 2027, it's actually quite close. The start of that Rugby World Cup is in October. So we've got 468 days until the Rugby World Cup. But Zimbabwe have Wales, England, and Tonga in their group. It'll be a tricky one, I'll be honest. But I think that Zimbabwe, if they can somehow get the victory over the Tongans, that would probably put them high enough to be able to qualify as one of the third best teams. As this game on TV, says Henry on SABC. I don't think it's on SABC, but it is on Super Sport. How much is Super Sport, Hamish? For a month pass, I'm not even sure, to be honest. I think it's like 100 and something New Zealand dollars, somewhere around there. We never see Zimbabwe Rugby. Hope it's a good game, says Hillberry. And that's one of the exciting things about this match is I haven't really had too much of an opportunity to watch Zimbabwe in action, but I've heard good things about this side. Mafura in the number 15 jersey, we have seen that man in action, but like certain players in this lineup shows me that this should be a pretty handy team, and this is going to be a great opportunity for the young South Africa A players to also see what it's like playing at international rugby level. And where are you watching the stream from? I'm watching from New Zealand, but I have got a VPN so that I am set to Super Sport location-wise. So actually, kind of, in a way, I'm doing the stream from South Africa, if that makes sense. Zimbabwe are bad enough cricket, but rugby, I mean, they beat Australia in the last Cricket World Cup, didn't they? The Zimbabweans. It was pretty much, I think, the upset of the tournament. Why are you being mean? Tua's just better? Oh, I thought you was talking to me, but nobody streams Waz. They're named after a steel post. No, quite a few people do Warriors games on YouTube, I have seen. We have considered it quite a few times, but I don't want to jinx them. We have there, Sano still sad? Probably. But he'll be open to see the Box get the win. And also South Africa A, that would be the ideal finish to his day, I would say, up the Hurricanes. CSK Sladen, good evening from Sydney. Says, Bite, welcome in. I was have won how many premierships? Says, just better. I feel like you're very much speaking emotionally, though, because of what just happened to the Chiefs. But other than that, like, the Wires have been close multiple times, so they can relate to the Chiefs. But like you said, the Chiefs way back in the day, 2013 or so, was the last time that they were able to get the title, so they have at least got the one. Are you going to stream? Are you doing the stream so you can stream Box Barbar's game? I mean, I'm doing both, so I guess so. I think we're doing this one because it's also international rugby. And Hamish, today you must support Zimbabwe, says Tumunda there. Well, tell me who are the players who I'm looking out for. I'm looking at Mavaseri just because I've loved watching him for the Sharks throughout the URC. I like the Gary Porter factor in terms of the locking duo. Interesting that they chose Tachuka to be in the locks rather than loose forward. I meant to fill in time. Not really. It's just an international friendly. So it would be weird for us not to cover it with how close it is to that next game. Plus, like, yeah, it is just like it was always going to be on the schedule. No matter what. Why is a player like Lukanu I'm doing in a team like this? Strategy from Rassi and his coaching team. Pretty much the gist of it is they're putting him with Marcus Muller, having a guy with a lot of experience out there to try and steer the ship per se, so that someone like a Muller can go out there and play his best rugby while also having that veteran guiding him along the way. So it makes sense to me. It's the same as what we see in terms of the forward pack, how you see some of those guys with a lot more experience compared to the guys who don't have it. Is the 7s or 15s? 15 on 15 for this contest. We have you there. I'm just spitting facts up the mighty Newcastle Knights. Where are they on the table at the moment? The Knights, but Vincent Tachuka going to be leading the side out onto the field for South Africa A. Now, every once in a while, I will just accidentally refer to them as South Africa without the A on front, but do know that it is not the Springbok official team, although they do wear that green and gold and they wear the Bok crest on the chest. But this is the curtain raiser for the game taking place later on tonight. The Barbarians and South Africa. Nice afternoon kickoff for that one. This one kicking off around lunchtime, which is in 5 minutes' time. Although not lunchtime here in New Zealand, it's currently 10 p.m. almost. Where's this game played? It is played at the same location as the Under-20s Rugby Championship was. And we have got their, okay, that deserves a timeout, says Padza. We have got their fragile Wawa, says just better. And how's it, Hamish? Hoping for a better day than yesterday, says Yanko. And Rusty will look for new blood for future senior Bok team, says Hillberry. Yeah, and I do think that he's also still got Lukanyuam on his radar. Because, again, you have this guy in the team here for a good bit of experience, but you'd also still put him in there for the sake of trying to see whether or not he can still be a 13 option. We saw Moody absolutely butcher the first half for the Bulls, but then he got better in the second. You've got Jesse Creel, but any sort of injury along those lines, you do want to have someone as a backup that you can rely on. And I think that Lukanyuam, some people do forget how good that man has been in the past. The Barbar's favourite, says Kahu. I moderate Discord, you're nothing. Can I say that I'm not surprised that you're a Discord moderator? Just better than you. Whoever that's ever a game must win at least with 100 points, or Rusty should be concerned. Not necessarily. I think we also can't be too harsh on the Zimbabwean team. Like, they're a side that are unpredictable, but also they earn their spot in the Rugby World Cup for a reason. They had to beat some pretty handy sides to be able to get there, including Namibia, who are no longer going to be in that World Cup environment. Don't you like me anymore? What do you mean, Mahdi? I missed a comment. It's not because I have a hatred towards you. It's just because there's so many coming through. Is Springbok versus Barbarian there? Yeah. That's why this is the curtain raiser at the same location. Another box expected to destroy the Barbars? Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be a bit similar to what we see in terms of last year. How it was about 54-7 or something like that. Do you think Arm can make next year's World Cup? I actually think he theoretically could if there is an injury. I don't think that he gets in first choice. I don't think he even gets in second choice. But I think that Rassi has a huge amount of respect for him. And a little bit similar to someone like Amani Libok, how some people like to question why they make certain selections. But Rassi, you know, you're better off not questioning that man. Because for one, people get angry at you if you do. But also, everything's worked so far for him. So you just got to put your trust in him and assume that he knows what he's doing. Because he got a couple World Cups in the cabinet that say that he does. Are you covering Springboks Barbarians? We certainly are. We've also got quite a big build-up for that matchup as well. I think we're going to be doing about an hour just to go through the upcoming season for the Boks as well as the upcoming international rugby window, looking at the squad, because I believe later on today is when Rassi will actually announce his actual squad for the internationals. What happened to the Chiefs? They decided not to play well, and it cost them dearly in that match. But the Zimbabwean national anthem is now just being sung. Are the Boks the best team ever, says Kahu? Depends on who you talk to, but also is one of those ones that if you say yes or no, you're always going to spark a debate online. Everyone's got their own opinion about it, but this current Boks side, they are doing extremely well, and they've got an insane amount of depth. Which channels are showing this game? Just 211 and 201 on SuperSport. They are sadly the only options that are actually available. I'm just going through trying to find whereabouts that date was that the team is going to be announced. I know that it was June, I want to say it was June 20th, but it may have actually been June 21st that it was going to be announced. But yeah, now I can't find it. But it will be somewhere anyway. And when it is announced, oh, yep, there we go. Yeah, so it seems like it's going to be very soon from Rassi that he does go and tell everyone exactly who his July Internationals team will be. Now, of course, he has to cut it down quite a bit compared to the amount of players that they've got available now. Half of the first team players from Zimbabwe are not available with club commitments in Europe and semis for Racing 92, Northampton Saints. So yeah, Zimbabwe old school there. And yeah, like that will make it quite difficult for them in this contest. But from the sounds of it, Zimbabwe are starting to put themselves on the map a little bit in terms of some of the players who are playing internationally. Mapunga, I think he got a contract somewhere, didn't he, recently, within the last couple of years? But he is, of course, back in that loose head role. Of course, they will also have full strength heading into the Rugby World Cup, or at least as much full strength as you can without the injury factor. Will all the international rugby in the coming weeks, with all the international rugby in the coming weeks, any chance you're doing some of the under-20 World Cup? I am hoping to. I think that starts next week, right, for the under-20s. I'll have a quick look now, but yeah, I'm hoping to squeeze in some of the games, but of course, like you said, it is a very busy international rugby window, so Yeah, we'll try our best. But yeah, next week there is Saturday night, New Zealand versus Japan. That overlaps with Barbarians versus Wales, unfortunately. South Africa on Sunday morning up against Uruguay. That is at 4:30 a.m. So we might be able to squeeze that one in. And yeah, we'll see what other ones we can try and do as well. What do you think? Or do you think that Scotland can beat the Box and Loftus? Could be a hiding? Probably a hiding, but hopefully they at least put in a decent showing. That would be like the benefit or like the bonus for the Scottish. You just also never know what they're going to do internationally. We've seen their game up against Argentina a while ago. That one was unpredictable. Ahmed is an exciting player, definitely one to watch. Yeah, he did brilliantly for the under-20s in the Rugby Championship. Seemed to really be able to control the game from the 10 jersey. And yeah, I think he's got a bright future. They've actually got some really handy 10s coming up through the rankings. Vusi Moyo getting the opportunity up against the Barbarians. He's another one that falls into that category. Does anyone know whether we will can watch it in the UK? I don't actually think you can in the UK. It's actually really unfortunate. But because it's two African sides, it's only available on Super Sport. Where can I watch the game free? Sadly, no free options unless it's like an illegal stream that will potentially get you a virus. But yeah, Super Sport is the only option to watch this curtain raiser. There are a lot more options to be able to watch South Africa versus the Barbarians, though. We are just about to kick off here. It is a beautiful sunny day at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, which is fantastic news because it does mean that we are going to get to see, hopefully, some free-flowing, fast-paced rugby for these two teams. It's not on Rugby Pass either. Yeah, initially people thought that it was going to be on Rugby Pass in the UK. But then, yeah, I don't know why they don't actually have it. Rugby Pass says it's streaming the game. Just about to kick off. Says Zimbabwe, but this one has now kicked off, going from right to left for the Box. They have managed to get the ball already in hand with Ruben van Heeren. Now, Ahmed. Curious to know how many opportunities that man will have with ball in hand throughout this matchup. He loves to run it too. About 40 metres out from the line. Hassim Peed back across to the right-hand side. Finds the hands of Ahmed. There's a nice mix of that experience alongside also some of those newer faces on the scene. Some of these boys are probably even going to be playing for the under-20s just around the corner in the championship. Now passing it away to the right-hand side. Now short pass, a little bit of space. Zimbabwe defending well at the moment. You only have 25% controls in your chat. Says float like a bee. I assume you're talking about the poll, right? In terms of who people feel has a chance of winning this one. Ahmed. Oh no, in fact that time it was Hassim Peed with a wide cutout pass. South Africa move inside of the 22, told to release there for Zimbabwe. Peed back across, oh no, goes over the top of Nebelele, finds the hands of Vincent Tachuka. Now Hassim Peed almost sniping through a gap, pops it up. Keeping the ball alive quite nicely here. South Africa A already 11 phases through the start of this game. Ahmed moving it on again. Marcus Muller back across now, close down the wing. Pure pace from Sayaya. And I think he's almost scored this try. It seemed like he was going to get pushed into touch, but just had the extra acceleration. And just like that, South Africa A are on the board. That was insane off the mark speed from Sayaya. We're watching on Super Sport as how I'm watching this one. Is Marcus Muller playing? He is indeed playing in that number 13 jersey, partnering with Lucanio Arm. Okay, I think they're just going to be checking this one to make sure that it was actually a legal grounding, that he hadn't been bumped into touch. Is Darian Landsberg eligible for Zimbabwe? I'm not actually too sure about whereabouts or when he's allowed to play for who. And please just turn the camera so we can watch it together. Says Zimbabwe, if I did that, I'd get taken down within about a minute. And then I'd get banned from live streaming for 3 months. So I get a long holiday, but you also still wouldn't be able to see the game. Other guys enjoying your big juicy steak. Whilst we guys left here hanging. Says Tanner 2. Okay, they're just going to check it again. A few more times. Okay, clear evidence to overturn the on-field decision. It is going to be called as no try there for Sayaya, just getting pushed into touch. Like they said, just touching the sideline. Potential community service as well. Says how's it? And also wise plan by Rassi, playing against Zimbabwe to hammer them and create even more hype about the youngsters, says Ben. Well, I think it's also just more getting the youngsters playing. You look at some of these guys, 5 years' time, they could be the main starters for the Boks. And sadly, if it was up to Rassi, he'd select 80 players in a squad. But he's not allowed to do that. Definitely not for July. So this is a way of getting those guys out there that normally you wouldn't really get to see. I actually think that South Africa A should be a more regular occurrence too. I think they should be playing Zimbabwe. I think they should be playing Namibia, Kenya, all the other African sides, just to give them some more rugby and still develop African rugby as a whole. The sad part is SuperSport can't be watched in the UK as well. Only with a VPN would be your option there. But South Africa have got themselves the line out now. Will be about 30 metres out from the opposition line. They're just showing Ruben van Heeren. A decent old year for the Stormers and the URC, but that one's gone over his head. It's going to be claimed by Zimbabwe briefly, but the knock-on is now going to be the scrum for South Africa. And they have got some big power up front. Boand Venter, Nedeling Forshare. You guys that love winning a scrum penalty and have done so many times before. So is Rassi coaching the A-team? Why does he get to decide who makes the A-team? Says Kahu, he would have a little bit of influence on it because, of course, it's similar to what you see for a New Zealand in New Zealand 15 near the end of last year. Like, coaches do have to communicate because the main coach will say who they want, and then the other coach will get to make the decisions in terms of who else they'd like with a little bit of guidance from the main team's coach as well, just to be able to work in unison with injuries and everything like that as well. You've got to remember, agree the South Africa A team should play more against our African neighbours. Says WLK. I think South Africa A should get some more balanced games. Australia, England, All Blacks, etc. I'm just being cheeky, lad, says TRJ. What you watching on? I'm watching on SuperSport for the way of watching this one. This one's going to be a scrum feed and a solid scrum from the Zimbabweans. It looks like now that ball was about to become available for Hasempe to move it away to the right-hand side. Little chip attempted in behind. Zimbabwe watching closely. Now nicely taken at the back and kicked downfield from Gerver. That's a good clearing kick. It'll be nice if we could see a Bok versus Fiji game again. Says, how's it? Yeah, it doesn't seem to happen too often. In fact, that was Mafura who had that ball rather than the right winger. 4 minutes into the contest. The score is still 0-0. There was almost the early try for South Africa in the corner for Siyaya, but just brushing that sideline. You think South Africa will get 50 points? This is going to sound quite bad, but I hope they don't. I hope that this game is actually quite competitive and we get to see the best of Zimbabwe here, although they haven't had a lot of the ball as of yet, claimed at the front of the lineup by Ruben van Heeren. Now Ahmed looking for the chip in behind, chasing after this one is Lucanio Arm, takes it nicely, thought about the pass on the outside, but instead will go inwards. Here comes Siyaya, off the mark. This man is lightning fast, and that one will not be denied. He gets his try this time, and South Africa now do take the lead. Where can I watch in the UK? Sadly, there is no UK watching option unless you have a VPN and have SuperSport. After yesterday's Bulls game, there are guys who may have played themselves off the box. So some of these young guys on the A-team, I should be given a closer look, says Leon. Oh, hang on. Oh, now we're going TMO again. Okay, it seems like every time that South Africa A score, there's something that they want to check. Now, that is actually... Oh, no, never mind. I thought they were actually going to check for a knock-on from Hasempe in the breakdown, but they're actually checking to see whether or not he was in front of the kicker. Fighting incoming says, how's it, my brew? And 100-0 to South Africa. Right. What are we going to see here? Will there be a flat pass across the face to draw a slap-down yellow card? Okay, they're going to cancel Siyaya's second try of the day because he was in front of the kicker. So this bloke has almost got a hat-trick, and next time he does score, he would have gotten the hat-trick had he just avoided the touchline and avoided the offside line. So yeah, no try here. Still 0-0 between these two sides. So Yaya's smiling about it. He sees the funny side. That one was his own fault for just not getting back in time. 5 minutes in and it is still 0-0, and at least this time now Zimbabwe will have themselves the penalty around the halfway line. It's where they need some much-needed possession. How's it, bro? Says Matthew, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Which channel you're watching on? SuperSport 211 is the one that I'm watching it on. But I think it's also on 201 as well. Yeah, even if you do have DSTV, but not the top package, you can't even stream this stream in South Africa. Yeah, which I find really strange. But they do seem to have it, I guess, trapped behind a paywall Whose ball currently Zimbabwe's around the halfway line. The marketing team says Ireland are the best in the world. Says Sven. Now, line out here for the Zimbabweans. Mandioma. That number 2 jersey for today. Ahoy H says Juan Pierre Bosch. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. And also a good test for Zimbabwe. Do you think keeping an unbeaten streak will be good for them? Or will a loss be better for keeping the ego under watch? I think that heading into the World Cup with an undefeated streak would do them a world of good in terms of confidence and whatnot. But like having the occasional loss, sometimes you learn more from the losses than you learn from the wins. So I think that either way, Zimbabwe being in the World Cup is the biggest thing and like the most important thing in mind for those players. Rather than wins and losses now, it's about what can we do once we get to that World Cup. And currently, rush defence there from Nedling for share. Currently, they've got an attack going. Zimbabwe, and away to the right-hand side again. Draw and pass. Nicely done. Mafura delays his pass. Can't quite sneak through the tackle attempt to Pede. And looking for the turnover and the breakdown. And they do get it with Emmanuel Tichuka. Penalty awarded to the box. Scoreboard out of date. Was Yaya's second taken back as well? It was, yeah. That was ruled off the board due to him being offside. And Kiwi, you worked non-stop, fella. Big respect. Where's the tie, though? It's still on. There it is. I'm just wearing a jersey because it's like 2 degrees. But, yeah, it's still on underneath. Which might be why we haven't had any tries as of yet. It seems to be when I wear the tie, side completely runs away with the game. South Africa think they've already won the World Cup. So here's the real Ando. 7 minutes in at the moment, and South Africa A have got themselves the line out with Nibelele, about 43 metres out from Zimbabwe's line. Not straight, but not contested by the Zimbabweans. Hasim Pede forward pass to Lukanyawam. Okay, they might go back to check that if they... Bet you Sayaya scores now, and they'll go back and say there was a forward pass. What's attendance like? I believe the stadium's going to be close to full later on, but just for now, because it is the opening contest at the ground, there's a few people there, but maybe not as many as they would have liked. But yeah, a lot of people going in for South Africa versus Barbarians in the later game. Link says, Landeve, it is on Super Sport in South Africa. And try not scored yet. Yeah, 2 very close calls for South Africa. 2-man tackle on Lukanyawam. 35 metres still out from the line as we pass the 8-minute mark here in this contest. Ruben van Heeren. Now back across to the right. Once again, nice step there from Vincent Tichuka. Here's the man with him, should have passed it. Got selfish and it's a knock on from South Africa. That's the type of mistake that Rassi will look at and go, he should have been passing that possession. But got a bit excited. Vincent Tichuka, he has to apologise to his teammate on the outside now because he would have been through for all money. Bet you it was one of the young wingers. Yeah, he just never looked for the pass. Vincent Tichuka until he hit the ground and then tried to pop it up to Brian Fenter. By then it was too late. South Africa already won the World Cup 4 times, says Denethling. And also not a bad idea for South Africa to play more often, but against African opposition. That would be a total humiliation for our African teams. Let South Africa B play against them, says Sharkman. But I also do think that by playing up against a side like South Africa A, and yes, there might be some big score lines and whatnot, but that will show Zimbabwe what level they have to get to. They always say to be the best, you got to beat the best, and to get better, you got to play people stronger than you. And is that not the perfect time to do it? If South Africa are trying to send a weaker side to face the African sides, then, they have to get something out of it too, which is Rassi gets to see these guys in action. South Africa should play against tier 2 nations like Portugal, Georgia, USA, Samoa, Canada, Fiji, Tonga, etc. Says Sharkman. How can I watch live on YouTube? Sadly, there are no free options on YouTube or anywhere outside of Super Sport in South Africa. You've been following the soccer? Not massively. I've only seen a couple of the results. It's quite good, though, because Haino follows the Football World Cup well and truly, so he keeps me informed about what's happening, and I just kind of nod and go, okay, that's good. But now ball's been put in. Big scrum attempted by South Africa A, and they've managed to get the steal there. Now breaking off the back, getting close to the try line here for Pepsi Buthelezi. Although on the ball for Zimbabwe, they managed to get the turnover, but they'll go back for the initial penalty. I don't even our own legend, Tim Bain. Says Yanko. I mean, I watched New Zealand Iran the first 75 minutes of it. Then it got too stressful, so I went to the gym and just looked at the result afterwards. But he's done all right, I guess, in his first game of the World Cup. I know that's blasphemy now, isn't it? Where can we watch the live match? Super Sport would be your best option. 211 or 201. We have their South Africa A play against African teams is a good way to secure young talent so that they can't play for other nations. Says WLK. Now Nebelele. This man has got a Bulls contract. Also has a championship under his belt from the under-20s World Championship last year. Rough line out though, and it's taken by Zimbabwe. They're only a couple metres out from their own line. They haven't had a huge amount of possession in the early stages of this matchup whatsoever. Fair enough, says Yanko. Now 2 metres out from their line. This is where their captain, Mutariki, has to look to kick this one towards the touch line. And does get it into touch. South Africa A decide against the quick throw there. But 11 and a half minutes through, it is still tryless in the early stages of this match, ladies and gents. Also, it was very close to the first try and second try being scored by Sayaya. Oh, I thought for a second there was going to be a sub, but it was just calling the line-out numbers. Now, chance here for Nebelele again. Try and get that line-out more accurate. That one's gone over the top two. That's about the third line-out that they've struggled with at the moment. Zimbabwe looking to get the back line going. It looked like it may have gone forward. Almost a football-style pass across the outside centre. Now Marariki under pressure again. It'll be tough to make the meters already, it seems, for Zimbabwe. I'm sure Zimbabwe will score a try. They're faster than South Africa team, in my opinion. Says Sven. I mean, they do certainly have a few speedsters in their mix. Going up for the high ball, nicely taken by Guilherme. Now Hassim Pede. Back to the right-hand side again. Finds the hands of Ruben van Jaren. Now Pede passes across to Ahmed with a bit of space to work with, but he is smashed and he might be injured here too. Ahmed, he springs back up to his feet. Now Boan Fenta, 15 metres out from the line. Ahmed with the snipe and run. And Nebelele, big clean out in the breakdown. Zimbabwe have managed to rip it away, but they will be penalised for it. And I would say South Africa will look towards, that's not a battle that he should try and win there. I think that who was that player for South Africa A? I think it was maybe Guilherme decided that he wanted to start a fight with one of the biggest Zimbabweans out there on the field, which is not a good idea. But we see it there, just stealing that ball when the ruck was already formed for Utiti. Zimbabwe is going to win. Where can I stream the match? Super Sport would be your best option, or DSTV. South Africa A, I read that one, didn't I? And Zimbabwe is going to win. Now, scrum is the option that South Africa A have opted for here, and that is smart because the line-out has been sadly misfunctioning at times here. Marcus Miller wearing that number 13 jersey. He did have his debut for the Stormers, picked up an injury. I give Marcus the ball. He is good. Hi, everyone. Says, hey, no, welcome in, mate. And the youngest end of ever Stormers debutant. Also had one of the shortest debuts due to injury. And come on, people, a true South Africa team. It's compromised of Springbok players that didn't make the match day 23. Way too good for African opposition. Says Sharkman. I think you're missing the point, though. Because it's not about whether or not they'd be too strong to take them down. It's about giving opportunities for these other African sides to face stronger opposition so that they can improve. Sayaya for the corner. I think he's out again. I think that is going to be his third time that he almost scores. And then has it disallowed. He's had a hat-trick of no tries at this point in time. Time at the moment is 14 and a half minutes through. South Africa not getting scrum dominance. Says Albert. We see it there, the fend off. And fires it out to Sayaya. Did he get it down? No, foot on the line again for Sayaya. He didn't actually bother trying to ground that one this time. Okay, it is going to be the line out for Zimbabwe. We've actually got, I think, the ref's mic a little bit louder than it normally is. We're getting to hear quite a bit of what's happening out there on the park. Nicely taken by the Sables. And only 5 metres out from their line again. They are really trapped inside of their own half here, Zimbabwe. African teams in football are starved of high-level opponents, says Finn. And see Nana, says Real Ando. Yeah, he's been very close. If he doesn't score by the end of the game, I'd be very surprised. But at the same time, maybe I wouldn't be because of the amount of disallowed ones he's already had. Let's hope the Zimbabwe get to score soon. It will be a wake-up for the A box a little. Nibelele. The line-out has been the shakier part of the South Africa A game. It wasn't the straightest, but it is still going to be straight enough. Now Hasim Pede across to Lukanyoam. One of the veterans in this side. Pede again goes across to Pepsi Buthelezi. He has dropped the ball. And now Zimbabwe with some much-needed position. Again, they're inside of their own 22. Mathura decides the best option is to just absolutely fire it downfield. Awkward bouncing ball. Well controlled, though, by Siyaya. Breaks the line initially and then dragged down 40 metres out. But good work in the breakdown from Zimbabwe to almost get themselves the turnover. Hasim Pede on the short side to Lukanyoam. Slowly and surely, South Africa making those metres again. Ahmed delays his pass to Klakane. Zimbabwe, every breakdown at the moment, they're committing at least one man. Beautiful sell of the dummy there from Ahmed, and he runs through everyone and scores the try between the posts. It is a sensational run from the 10. We have there, I've downloaded VPN. Now the SuperSport Rugby is not saying, I should have a DSTV to watch the game. Wait, is not saying I should have a DSTV. See, because I'm watching on SuperSport from New Zealand. By doing the exact thing of a VPN to then be able to watch it. And tries says Albert, yeah, they've finally broken the disallowed tries, and Ahmed, the man, slides on it. It'll be a nice, easy kick for himself as well. Okay. I just had to wait for a little bit longer to make sure that they actually said that the try was scored. Oh, almost that Sasha scored. Says Albert there, and South Africa says Jaden. But yeah, Qan Ahmed is the man in charge. Oh, sorry, Yakin Ahmed, I should say. I think I said Qan as in Qan Horn. He is going to be playing 10 later on tonight. I'm watching from the UK, so I've downloaded no VPN, but I also downloaded the SuperSport. But I don't know what to do next because I clicked the game and it says you should have DSTV. NordVPN. So do you have a DSTV account though? Because it's like a subscription-based thing in South Africa for DSTV. They're like, you need the subscription to be able to watch the game. They're similar to Sky Sport, Stan Sport, and all those ones elsewhere around the world. But 18 minutes in at the moment, 17-0 for South Africa A. 7-0. Not quite that far ahead. Hasim Pede. Bring this one up high. Being chased well by Yako Williams. Manages to get up and get enough on it to get the position back for South Africa. Klakane. Trying to bump off another player. Now moving across to the left-hand side. Oh, Marcus Muller shut down early. In fact, no, that was Guilherme that time. Hasim Pede going off to Vincent Tachuka on the short side. There's a bit of slipperiness underfoot. That'll be interesting for the Barbarians game a little bit later on. Now going left-hand side. Siyaya bundled into touch. He did throw it back on the inside, but Zimbabwe now with the ball in the knock-on advantage. Pollard had a shocker this past week's in play. Talks are he's done. I always find those talks funny though. Like the amount of people who go, nah, Pollard, he's over the hill, he's done for. But then if he's the one who gets that last minute kick that wins them the World Cup, then everyone goes, we backed him from the start. It was always Pollard. But yeah, it just shows how quickly people will turn on you. Because you can be the best player one week and everyone hates you the next. But that's just the reality of some rugby viewers. But that one's going to be cross-kick from Guilherme. It goes straight into the hands of Zimbabwe. Beautiful offload on the outside and great hands there to be able to keep this ball alive. Now sitting 40 metres out from the opposition line here, Zimbabwe. This is the furthest up the field that they have been. I'm enjoying this running rugby all action. I think that's similar to what we're going to see in the next one as well, which is quite intriguing. Now, big wide cutout pass. Oh, huge driving shot from Siyaya and picked up by Marcus Muller. All he had to do was run the ball in. And it is the try for Muller. And the second now for South Africa A. And Bollard is just needed for his kicks at this point. Says Kamai. And who scored so far? Marcus Muller just got that one. And then also Ahmed got the first. 1 second, we'll go like this. Like that. Hamish, you're missing my point. Our C side, South Africa B, is strong enough to give African teams the exercise they need. Please do not suggest that full Springbok and Springbok B team should take on Africa. Says Sharkman. Well, you're saying I'm missing your point. You're missing my point as well. So we can just agree to disagree. Much easier than going back and forth all day. I can't watch it, says Benedict. What must I do? So it's on Supersport is your way of watching it on 211 or 201, but you do need a South African subscription to be able to actually watch it. Now, Ahmed has kicked that one over, and that is going to make the score now 14-0. He sits 2 from 2 off of the kicking tee. Pollard is prime, or his pass is prime, and we need to accept his knees are not what once was. He also has bad ankles these days, and guess who's back? Guy Hamish says, Carlin, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Been a little while since we have seen you. South Africa A doing well here. Marcus Muller pouncing on the opportunity to be able to score. So far we've seen 2 guys from the under-20 set up as the 2 try scorers for South Africa A. This is not live for today. Well, that's the thing. Outside of DSTV and Supersport, there's no way of watching this around the world, which is just crazy. Like, I feel like this is the type of game that you chuck on YouTube, on like World Rugby's YouTube channel, and you have it that people who are outside of South Africa can watch it just for the sake of, you know, getting eyes on some of these younger players, getting eyes on Zimbabwe as well, heading into that Rugby World Cup. And we have it there. I feel like Sayaya is set up for failure because he's being played out of position. Says Storm Ranger. Yeah, although he's gone all right in the early stages of this one. He's almost scored 3 tries, ironically, in the early stages. Just had 2 of them disallowed, and then the other one he was bundled into touch. There will be lots of empty seats today, Hamish. I think about 10 to 20k will be there, says Haino. See their lineouts won, lineouts lost at the moment is 3-3 for South Africa A, so only going at a 50% accuracy. Zimbabwe have won all of their lineouts, sitting 3 from 3. Now line out again, and all just claimed. Now Madariki going across now, sorry, I should say, was Sigauke. I said that sounding like he was Japanese, unfortunately. I can't watch it at Zimbabwe either, unless you have DSTV, says Candy. But yeah, I feel like this is the type of game that should be free to air. You know, just a bit of a spectacle. It'd definitely be like huge. Like, because there's a lot of people internationally now as well. I feel like that's something that main broadcasters forget, is the fact that not everyone lives in South Africa. You know, there are South Africans everywhere in the world. Same with Zimbabweans. Now an offload there out to Siyaya. Ball on the inside, Muller. Going to Pepsi Buthelezi. Now Pede. Goes to Bonfento, who's braked in the line. Offload to Klakane, who sits down the Zimbabwean back line. Tries the offload, knocks it on, though, in the process, just in that final moment. We have there, besides the scoreline, Zimbabwe is holding their own so far. Here's Albert. And I paid £10 to watch the Springboks to play on Sky TV in England. Absolutely ridiculous, the price of sports in the UK. And we have it there. Thank you from Magate, says Kovis. And Klakane needs to be a Bok. Well, I think he's close. You know, he's got that power. He's got the size. He's only young, too. The bloke's like 20 years of age, maybe 21. So he's got a bright future. It's just when they decide to pull the trigger on him. But I guess it also has to be asked, where do you play him? In terms of that loose forward trio. Jasper Wieser's got the 8. Peter Steftotoy's got the 7. Kolisi, to a certain extent, has the 6. After Kolisi, you're probably looking at maybe a De Villiers, or who else could you look at 6? I feel like Klakane's best position would be 7, but then Peter Steff would have to move to 6 probably, I would say, to be able to squeeze him in. As Bryce Stan didn't pick it up. Yeah, well, they normally do Stan Sport, but yeah, they haven't really now. We need to make more noise on their socials around this. Should be free to view worldwide, says Carlin. Yeah, although I don't think they've ever listened to people who say that it should be free to air. They seem to just go, nah, it's all right. Just buy Super Sport. But yeah, like for me, I've got a VPN running so that I can watch this from what is the equivalent of being in South Africa. So it's actually quite low quality. Like it's a bit blurry at times, which is where I've corrected myself in terms of the numbers because can't actually see them. It's only about 5 pixels, but we're getting there. I wish you could give the music a break in South Africa sports, says Finn. And Zimbabwe doesn't look like they even have a team doctor or physio, says Albert. So I can guarantee you that they would. Get into the World Cup in 2027 to take on some big sides. Tonga will be their matchup that I think they will definitely be targeting, but alongside that, they have got a game up against the English and the Welsh. And we have their morning Hamish, Mr. Super Rugby final slept in after the football. Interesting scoreline. Yeah, never really got close, that one. Unfortunately, just Hurricanes played far better. Chiefs did score that consolation try near the end, which was quite ideal. We're over there joining late. How's the game been so far and who scores? Thanks. So far we have seen the scores for Ahmed and Muller. And it's been fast-paced. 25 minutes through. You can know Japan already toppled other so-called pros. Choke before choke again. And Zimbabwe does actually have a chance. The Springboks have big trouble this season, says Darius. Do they? I feel like South Africa don't have big problems whatsoever. I've also got to remember this is South Africa A. So it's the backup guys. But Boan Fenta, he has been penalised. Oh no, in fact, I think it might have just been a free kick. I meant the hooker, Nebeleli. How's this game so far? 50% on the lineouts at the moment. So outside of that, very hard to judge. Like he's had a couple decent runs. We have there next Springboks back row, 6 Honeycomb, 7 Fenta, and 8 Klachane. Oh, okay. So you're playing Honeycomb as a 6, which is an interesting choice, rather than playing him as an 8 like he's been playing the whole season. Penalties conceded, 3 by Zimbabwe, 2 from South Africa A. I know I'm sitting here in Zimbabwe, says Candy. And paid $17.99 to watch in the UK on Premiere. If you want to watch on DSTV, ask a friend or family member who has it for the pin and use a VPN. Says Brendan there. There's more of the junior box. Yeah, it's a very young South Africa A team, and then they've added a few of the more veteran players like a Lukhanyo into the equation as well. Currently on the short side here for South Africa. About the 40 metres out from the line. But it's a brilliant opportunity for those young guys to get a chance and show what they can do at the kind of international stage. We appreciate you being our eyes for us. There's no better live stream, says Carlin. And of course, we are going to be back for the game just around the corner, taking place between the Barbarians and South Africa. That is definitely going to be one. Keep an eye on for that. Will be just as fast-paced as this one, maybe even a little bit more, as we know the Barbarians love to go with a few trick plays along the way. Currently, it is a line out here. Oh, no, sorry, scrum feed on the far side of the field. After another handling error. Time left in the half, please. At the moment, still another 12 and a half minutes remaining in this half. Covering the games when it's so late, your side true passion, mate, says Kevin. Well, believe it or not, 10:30 p.m. That's an early night for myself. I'd say it was the non-smart decision of doing an all-nighter last night before the URC final. Because I was initially going to sleep for like 6 hours, maybe 7 hours beforehand. And then I was like, you know what? I can find something else to do. And then it got to about 4 o'clock and I decided to have a nap for an hour. But I would have been much better off just sleeping the whole time and then getting up for that game. But I feel like sleep deprivation and live streaming goes hand in hand. That one's going out the back for South Africa A. They didn't get the advantage this time. Now, pop pass up. It's knocked on again, though. Oh, look on your arm tackled. Oh, the Zimbabwean defenders. The Bulls were ordered not to turn up. Match fixing sucks. Says Code Puncher. We're ordered not to turn up. So who got paid in that case? Like, were the Bulls paid, or was it someone higher up that was paid? Or was it, like, were Leinster paid to play well? Or, like, who are you saying was paid? Yeah, just dropping that ball as he was running through. for Yako Williams. Barbarians got Perenara. That's going to be interesting, says OG. They've actually got a decent Barbarian side, although the problem always is they have very little time together, so it never quite goes well. You know, so everyone wants to use Roids A, all rules out the window. Well, okay, you want to play dirty, we'll go import Sudan, the tallest of them all. Put them on Roids all 7 foot. What are you going on about, Cyrus? The Bulls, oh no, we've got the OMG S or ZBC. It's still working, but nothing about our team on there, says Candy. Now Zimbabwe winning the scrum just out from their 22. It's a rough pass, but bounces up into the hands of Trevor Gervais. Do people really think Roids make you taller? Says Ruben. Yeah, I don't think they help with the height, unfortunately. If they did, I think more people would be on them, to be fair, because I know a lot of people who would rather be a little bit taller. That's going to be kicked in behind from Mafura, but getting back and covering is Hassim Pede. Flicks it on the outside to Marcus Muller. Now Pede. Oh, that was almost a perfect pass up to Klekane with a lot of momentum going forward. OG Perenara is still good, says Rwando. Back across to the left-hand side. Again, big collision. Pepsi Buthelezi. Pete off to Nebelele. 30 minutes through this game. I can't believe how quickly this match has been going. I guess because of those couple of disallowed tries early on, I guess it changed. Used up a bit more time. Pepsi Buthelezi just losing a couple meters along the way. They have got the penalty advantage, though. Now, Hassim Pede sniping through and scores try number 3. For South Africa A. Looking at how many Zimbabweans are here. Show with your flags says 40. And also, however, it was that got paid. It wasn't me, says Xander. That's Perenara in this game. Not in this game, in the Barbarians one. Just around the corner, alongside quite a few other Kiwis. We see Alex Nankervel in there. Harry Plummer off of the bench too. Miracle Faialangi. Be interested to see what he can do in a Barbars kit. And we have says Tavongo. Also, I think he wants to recruit South Sudanese, says Fleshin. And also, Roids and supplements are a guaranteed way to destroy your kidneys, says Albert. And can you please put the try scorers down the bottom? I can tell you the try scorers are Hassim Pede, Marcus Muller, and then also Ahmed scored the first. So just the 3 backs who have been able to cross the line at this stage for South Africa. The real reason South Africa is the best at team sports in the world is because we have the highest unemployment rate in the world. Wait, so why does that translate into like being good at team sports? I'm curious about this, like the mindset set and the correlation between them. We have Zimbabwe, says Pastor Tom. Early changes being made at the moment for the Zimbabweans. Their tight head prop, Bornwell Gwinje is going off. And try your sleep deprivation when you get to my age, says Kevin. I've already destroyed my brain. At this stage, I have like the memory loss of probably about an 85-year-old man. Like, it's got really bad outside of the live streams. It's good for the stream side of things because luckily I get reminded about like certain statistics and whatnot. But, penalty goes away at Zimbabwe. But yeah, like in general life, I've pretty much like butchered my brain to the point how I'm not going to remember anything by the time I'm like 35. But that's the price you pay, unfortunately. But I'll do some brain games or something. She'll be right. Our boys are playing as individuals, says Vitamin Green. And the bottom line is that the Bulls were clueless and outplayed by a better team. Congrats to Leinster. No excuses or complaints from the South African. And 21-0, says Albert there after the 33. And people like Spinner, just one of those dramatic South Africans. Everything is worse in our country to him, says Galoff. And also, no work and all play. We are the champions. Hooray. Well, that's a nice little jingle, isn't it? Needling Fouchier, he is still out there on the field. The remaining tight head from the starting lineups. A chance here for Zimbabwe to get an attack going. Mandioma throws it over the top, but it's knocked on by Zimbabwe. It was actually a good opportunity to run it off the back of the line out. It didn't quite open up. Score on the screen is wrong. It is currently 21-0 after 34 minutes. That one has not found touch. Instead, Zimbabwe looking to run this one back with Mafura. And he goes almost through the gap, but a great tackle made by Vincent Tachuka. Scoreboard stuck says Andrea. It is 21-0 at the moment, which is correct. I assume that maybe it was behind before, but it's right now, which is ideal. Again, getting hammered by under 20s. Says Michael. Why 21? Because they've got 3 tries. Now stepping again. About 40 metres out here for Zimbabwe with the ball in hand. Zimbabwe just trying to put together a few phases in a row here to find a way through. If they can score before the halftime break, they are not completely out of this game, but they have to make sure they're clinical. Mathura, nice quick hands, finds the pass on the outside. There is some rapid pace down the wing here. Ball on the inside, nicely done, but just quick enough to get back for the South African defenders, and it was Lukanyo who was leading the charge. Guillermo, I should say, told to get out of the breakdown, and there is the penalty advantage for Zimbabwe because of it. Bruce Houston goes across, looking like a cross kick here from the Zimbabweans. Nice take from their big number 7. Now Maveseri offloads on the outside again. Oh, Gerwer close to the sideline. The ball's stolen, so they'll go back for the penalty. There's about a triple blow of the whistle too. I believe there is an injury here for one of the Zimbabwean players. Don't forget about the World Cup. England will destroy us. Says Michael. Oh no, it's actually a South African player who is down at the moment. I think it's Sayaya. He was getting checked on by a Zimbabwean player initially. We see it there in the breakdown for not releasing. G'day, Hamish. What a bashing the Chiefs received from the Hurricanes. Are we scoring as Zimbabweans? I think they'll get at least one in this game. Sayaya looks like his day is done, though. His face does not look good. And he also looks like he's got a limp, too. He looks in a bad way, Sayaya. He looked very unwell, so we'll be giving him some medical attention here. Let's hope Sayaya's injury isn't any more permanent than its tries. Oh, geez, that's bad. Friendly fire. What was happening was Klekane was making a tackle, swung around, and Sayaya was on the ground, and then the foot of, or actually it was the shin and the knee of Klekane came flying around, hit him in the face, knocked him unconscious. So he is currently down on the sideline. How are you watching the game? On DSTV through Super Sport. Thanks for the same as great commentary. Thank you for ignoring all your teachers. They said you talked too much and decided to use your gift of the gab. I love your idea for more tests with South Africa, A, Zimbabwe, etc. Well, fun fact, I never used to talk a lot at school. And outside of live streams, I don't really talk that much either. But, yeah, when rugby's on, I'm in a very chatty mood. I never seen anything like that, says Albert. And how did the Chiefs lose so bad like that? Yeah, they just never found their second gear, did they? Hurricanes, they were going for it right from the get-go. Is this like the Zimbabwe first choice team? Not really. A lot of their players, that was hesitant. And it is going to be the free kick now awarded to South Africa because of Zimbabwe just doing the pump before going with the throw. But yeah, still quite a few Zimbabwean players are overseas. Can't you show us the screen? Sadly not. Any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike, banned for 3 months, potentially sued by Supersport. And yeah, I'd rather not pay like a copyright infringement fee of probably about 250,000 Rand, because that just seems a bit more expensive than I'd like it to be. And the freak accident will go viral, says Albert, I assume that is. Yeah, just hesitating to throw that ball in. Who's coming on? They did end up bringing on Lorenzo Julius. That's because of the wind. That's the home advantage. Kicked in as BS, says Cyrus. Yep, going across to the right, but loose from Zimbabwe. Now, starting to look like a bit more structure. No, never mind, they've just thrown the ball away again. They went for a couple passes in a row, and it was working, but then just getting a little bit too almost rushing it. Now, big shot on Vincent Tachuka. Big two-man driving tackle. Wow, that was almost a mistake there in the breakdown. So looking for the steal and the penalty awarded. It is against Mandioma for playing the 9. Thanks for doing this game for us, Hamish. It's mad that we can't watch this in the UK. And thanks, Hamish, for covering this for those who can't watch the game on TV. Yeah, see, I still feel like this should have been free to air outside of South Africa. Like, even in South Africa, I think it should have been as well. But, like, I am very surprised that Rugby Pass didn't take it, or, Stan Sport or anywhere like that. It's positive to have matches like this, absolutely. It gives both sides a real opportunity going head to head. Yeah, just playing Hasim there. Right, 2 minutes remaining. Nebelele, another line out. Never looks happy, Nebelele. Always looks like he's quite angry. Well, that line out has worked nicely. He's on the short side. He's flying down the wing. Does he get the ball to a teammate? No, it's cleaned up by Zimbabwe inside of their in-goal area. Oh, that's a mistake. Rather than kicking that one downfield, Bruce Houston just had a bit of hesitancy, and it does now become a 5-metre scrum for South Africa A. Come on, Zimbabwe. Oh, yeah, this embarrassing. Zimbabwe needs to use its forwards to score tries. Is this an ongoing thing to help develop African countries and our A teams, or a one-off? I think it's just a one-off at this stage. We have there. I don't think being able to listen but not watch is worse than missing it completely. Today, I'm very much enjoying the fact I can listen along. Thanks, Hamish. See you, Yanko. I saw Kiwi Rob getting so angry over Ruben Love doing so well. That was funny, says QQQ. It's hard to grow the game if no one is watching, says Jason. Yeah, like, this is the type of game that it's similar to, like those Rugby World Cup qualification games. You put them on a world stage, people will watch them. Even if you don't have a horse in the race, You give people something to watch that's like international friendlies, and just, get eyes on it, because having some eyes on it is better than having hardly any. I'm predicting the same score as Bulls versus Leinster, says Kamai. Now 40 seconds remaining of this first half period. There is another game just around the corner as well. I should mention, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the contest taking place between South Africa and the Barbarians. We've got a relatively long build-up for that one as well. So be sure to stick around for that. Now thrown over the back. Nice take from Zimbabwe, their halfback under pressure, and Matariki. One of the things for covering people don't appreciate, says Kudak there. Wonder how many people in Zimbabwe are watching. I think there's quite a few Zimbabweans watching this game, seeing their side in action. And there's the halftime siren. Zimbabwe, they look like they're just going to boot this ball into touch, or are they? No, they've gone with the up and under. There's a risky tactic here, as it could lead straight into the hands of South Africa, and it does. Guilherme does beautifully under the eyeball to Renzo. Julius wrestled into touch, so that will be halftime. But Zimbabwe almost took a little bit too much of a risk there in the closing moments of the half. But it is halftime in this match, 21-0 in favour of South Africa A. We have got their cheapest ticket is 1,050 Rand for today. And as Augustine says, hey, no, and well done, thanks for covering. People don't appreciate. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? And on what channel is the game shown? 211 and 201 are your two options for being able to watch. And also, we should have a grand final with Hurricanes and Leinster. They kind of did that a few years ago. Was Crusaders versus Munster. But the problem was they did it during the international window. So, no one was really available for Munster. It was just after the Crusaders had lost like all their players to overseas clubs. So they didn't have their best team. So it was pretty much like two weakened sides going head to head, and it just didn't really live up to expectations. And Jealous down, Zimbabwe is playing. Zimbabwe Rugby will grow, says Rooney. Yeah, currently the way that this one sits, 21-0, I don't think it's a terrible scoreline as a whole. South Africa did go off and start very quickly, although didn't really result in too many points. Not a bad halftime score. Well done, Zimbabwe, says JM. Yeah, I don't think they'll be hugely disappointed with that. I think that they got better as the game progressed as well. It seemed like early on in the match, they probably had quite a few nerves. Hurricanes win did not surprise me at all. Did not expect that big gap. Yeah, like the Hurricanes were the favourites going into that contest. But, yeah, just the way that it developed throughout the match, like the biggest ever margin in a Super Rugby final is, of course, not ideal. But luckily they did score at least the try, so it stopped it from being another one for the history books. You still wearing a shirt and tie from this for this low-ranked game, says Jason. Well, I got my hoodie on, so surely that makes you feel a bit better, doesn't it? And hey, from New Zealand, I am indeed, yes. So it is currently 10:50 p.m. We've got that game later on between the Barbarians and the Boks, and that one is going to be kicking off. And now it's my maths that's getting tested. 2 hours, 10 minutes is when that one's going to be kicking off. And these are our future players. There's Tommy Smith in there. Hamish doesn't like violence, especially accidental. He showed the screen, says, Angabonga, sadly, I cannot because or else I'll get copyright struck. And then we wouldn't have any live stream. And you wouldn't even be able to do the commentary or have the commentary as an option of being able to listen. Do you think the scoreline will be similar if they played the big box? Says Martin Meyer. I'd like to think that the big box, as you've called them, would do a bit better than South Africa A. But it's also not really the point of this match. Because if the Springboks wanted to play Zimbabwe, they could have. But this is all about building depth and giving opportunity to both of these sides. So, yeah, I think that this one, South Africa A, they've had a few errors along the way. The line-out's probably the one that they've been a bit more concerned about. South Africa A versus a second-string Zimbabwe 2. Yeah, that is true. Zimbabwe not even at full strength for this contest. How's your week, Hamish? Says it was Tauhera. It's been all right. It's gone quite quick. Because I swear it was last weekend, like 2 days ago. I don't even remember what I did this week either. Probably did something. I'd like to think. The Boks are generally very strong in the second half. It's a very specific conditioning process of Rasi, so the score will get ugly, says Kevin. And despite awards, Zimbabwe are holding up pretty well. Goes Zimbabwe from New Zealand, says a real Ando. And do you think they will also be playing Namibia soon? I hope they are, but I don't think they are. Like, I'd love to see some sort of like African rugby start to really fire up as we get closer to the World Cup. Although the other side of things is, like, they probably wouldn't. Like, Zimbabwe would want to play them, but Namibia and Kenya and whatnot, I don't know. They'd still want to play some games, I would think. How do you stream this game? I'm watching on Super Sport in South Africa, or like with a VPN that sent me to South Africa. It's a shout out to Hamish. It's Father's Day tomorrow here in the UK. Says Big Rigs. A shout out to Hamish Senior. I think they're going to be heading round next week. Maybe. Potentially. Maybe. Memory loss is a result of sleep deprivation in elderly age. Yeah, well, it's definitely the first one for me. But yeah, it's got to the point now, like, my brain's pretty much fried 90% of the time. And I just have no memory ability anymore. I used to have a really good memory too, which is the sad thing about it. Just shows what, like, mistreating your body can do. Highlanders re-signed their Argentinian lock. Do you think he will do better when he's actually playing with Holland? Potentially. I think that Lavanini, he never really found his full feet in Super Rugby this season. Players who impressed you for the first half. I think that Ahmed's control from that number 10 jersey was thoroughly impressive. Klehane's ability to get into the action and just try and smash absolutely everyone was a good watch too. We saw Marcus Muller have a couple good moments with ball in hand. And then, I mean, Siyaya was all but about 3 or 4 times being able to score, but then sadly did take that head knock, but a friendly fire. I thought South Africa done good. Leaving Super, then I see the Bulls done Chiefs over there, but except New Zealand still wins Super top 4, says Cyrus. The Hurricanes should win Super Rugby again next year, although they're losing like 13 players next year, so I think they'll look very different. General comment, I always underestimate the effect of injuries on the season for any team, says Stewart. Yeah, there's quite a long list of guys out for the Boks this year too. Although I think that's the same with most international sides currently. I mean, that most recent final, we saw maybe Doris going to be out for July. Stefano Nuku, also another player who did suffer the injury last week in Super Rugby. Lalakai Fukiti, who was injured too. And 13 to overseas. Says Cyrus. Now we have their Highlanders might finish 8th next year if they get lucky. Says Jason. But the second half of this one just about to start up. And also Clip Drift. Says Albert, they're just showing the replay of the tries. It was the nice cellular dummy from Ahmed in the 17th minute that led to try number 1 for South Africa. That was after already having a couple disallowed ones. I think Marcus Miller's someone to keep an eye on in the future. He's doing good. So here's Tommy Smith, and he was the man who scored the second try. That was in the 21st minute of this game. The bouncing ball going away from Zimbabwe, and Miller chasing through. Managed to score that try. And then the third try of the half was scored by Hassim Pen in a very similar fashion to how Ahmed scored it too. Who wins run a pole? South Africa A, says Kevin. How's Kevin there watching this game? I'm watching on DSTV. Handling errors, 8 from South Africa A compared to the 4 of Zimbabwe. 4 penalties apiece for these two sides as well, and a little bit more territory and possession, both in favour of South Africa A. And who wins run a poll? South Africa A versus All Blacks A, says Kevin. A bit an intriguing one. And actually a match that I'm slightly sad that they aren't having for the South African tour, although that is coming up very shortly. I personally would vote to have South Africa back in Super Rugby, says Jason. South Africa for the win, says Tommy Smith. I wish our South African teams could come back to Super Rugby. Man, I miss those days, early morning games in South Africa. Nothing beats that feeling, says Jean Wright. The South African sides were back in Super Rugby. I would get more sleep on weekends, because covering the URC as well as covering the Super Rugby side of things certainly does. I have plenty of matches I love South Africa, says Jasham. And also, greatest rivalry, Springboks win 3-1. I'm thinking either 3-1 or 2-2. And I know that gets me in a huge amount of trouble with the Kiwis, but I think realistically, if New Zealand win one game in South Africa, they've probably done quite well with the factors involved. It's obvious Springbok will win. Says Donovan. I don't think South Africa teams returning to Super Rugby hypothetically will be the same, because all our best players will still go to Europe and Japan for the money, says Albert. And also, wasn't there like 16 teams back then? Yeah, there was a time when there was 16, then there was the Super 14 for a while. I think there were 15 teams at one stage. It's changed quite a bit, similar to the recent years that we've seen of Super Rugby. Who's the South Africa team's coach? I can't think of his name now. Oh, it's going to annoy me. I can't think of the name. Someone will be able to tell you, though, who's South Africa A's main coach guy. Although Rassi is involved as well, just not as their coach, of course. And what VPN are you using? I'm using NordVPN at the moment to be able to watch it. It's a little bit blurry, though, I will say. Like, it's been pretty rough at times. I've had to squint and hope to see a number stick. That's the one. And we have got there. It won't be good to come back. Might bring it more views for sure. Be better for you guys to stay in the URC, I think, says Cyrus. And Mr. Sticker's the coach, says Mike Bester, and Tony Brown is there. Sticker's main coach, says Adam. And I was at Super Rugby final and so happy that the Canes won, says Dave. What was the win like, Dave? Because the win with a D on the end rather than the win. But, like, it looked blustery on the TV. And it just seemed like, yeah, I know that didn't change the result, but it certainly made the performance, I think, almost more impressive from the Hurricanes, the way that they kind of had to adapt. Super 12 was the best era of Super Rugby. And we have got there, do you think the Chiefs are on the town, or out on the town in Wellington currently? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I know that, I guess I can say this. It's not like, it's public knowledge, I guess, because it was in a public place, but after the Crusaders-Chiefs game in Christchurch, we saw quite a few of the Chiefs guys at the casino after the game. So I'd say they'll probably go out and see what's in the Wellington area and whatnot. I remember watching Super 10, says Albert. Super 12 was bro, that was gun, says Cyrus. Second half of this one, I would say, is only a couple minutes away from getting underway. I would like the Cheetahs, the Pumas, and the Requas to join Super Rugby. Party at Tony Brown's house, says Orlando. And Zimbabwe is not yet settled. The ball never had a complete cycle. They need to settle their nerves. Yeah, they seem to be making a few errors that you'd think normally they wouldn't be making. You know, like the passes that are bouncing before going to a player, all that sort of thing. It just seems like They got better as the half went on, though, I feel. I feel like at the start they were pretty shaky. Thoughts on Marcus Miller's game so far, says Nadine. I mean, he scored a try. It was a run-and try, but like he's had a couple decent runs so far throughout this contest. I don't think he's been the best back out there at the moment for the South Africans, but I also don't think he's touched the ball enough compared to some of those others who have had a lot more of the ball in hand. And Marcus Miller was solid. Yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong. And he pretty much did what he had to throughout that first half. Tony Brown, the gloves man. And how's Hasim P playing? He's played solid throughout this first half. He scored himself the try. Had a couple good sniping runs next to the breakdown. Also has been doing pretty nicely with the passing department for the South Africans. I haven't seen a huge amount of his box kicking game as of yet, or not that I've remembered much of anyway. But I think that's just because both sides are playing a bit more attacking minded than going back and forth with the kicks in the air. I didn't see anyone wearing gloves in rugby now. Well, you don't see anyone. I'm not sure if they're allowed to. The most you kind of see is like the long sleeves every once in a while for like a player with a thermal underneath. But other than that, they don't seem to go down the glove route. And 5th of July, Zimbabwe versus Tonga. They are also in the same group at the World Cup. And that game will say a lot for Zimbabwe's World Cup chances. Yeah, if they win that game, they would find themselves in a pretty decent chance of being able to get promoted into that round of 16. How's Horn been at 10 in this game? Apologies if you answered already. So they have got Ahmed at 10 for this game. Horn playing at 10 in the next one up against the Barbarians. That game kicking off in around 2 hours' time. But that was probably the big curveball of Russie's lineup. The fact that he did go with Kewan Horn in that number 10 jersey rather than giving him a chance at maybe 15. Good comment, Cheetahs, Rehwas and the Pumas back in Super Rugby would be great, says Stuart. We have there, yeah, that'll be it, eh? And also, Chiefs are at Mermaids Bar, says Real Ando. But Springboks A and the Sables just about to get back underway for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there is still plenty of action to come in this game, as well as in the game around the corner, which is going to be the Barbarians going head-to-head up against South Africa. I'm going to be covering that one on the channel too. And Oz Arabia is a bad sport, to be honest. Says, Hano, it's been a rough day for you, Hano. As a whole, you haven't really had a good result yet, but this would be a good result. And I think you also just need your box later on up against the Barbars to go out and be absolutely firing. How is Edward? I always mispronounce his last name. Sugalki doing against our boys. He hasn't had a lot of the ball. Couple times he's shown some real pace down that wing. Almost was able to get the breakaway near the end of the first half. But yeah, Zimbabwe, the thing is, the position stats said they had 40% or 48% of the ball. It didn't feel like that. It felt like about 30%. But I think a lot of the position that they had was just out from their own goal line. Oh, second half just about to kick off with Bruce Houston. And number 10, heavy strapping on that left knee. We are back underway. And this match, surely Ruben Love should start 10 for the All Blacks, says Absolute Sports. Can't wait to see how Kewan Horn goes at 10. He is the first receiver for the Lions attacking runs. But he's not looking too bad as a backup 10 option now, says I love you. Yeah, I mentioned about it during that other live stream, how all of the McKenzie haters are absolutely loving this time now. Because they can finally go on social media and fully commit to their cause. But I think he's still going to be in the ABs anyway, Damien McKenzie. I think that, you know, you can look at that game and go, yep, he was absolutely awful. But you can also look at about 10 other games this season and go, he was the best player on the field. Or at least right up there in top 3. So, yeah, I don't think it's the end of McKenzie like some people are praying for, but he'll be right. He'll come back. Nice take there from Kulemi under the high ball for the South Africans. I'll mention Nico Steyn is on the field, replacing Hasim Pede at half-time. So making the early changes here for South Africa. 41 minutes through. Nico Steyn, ball's knocked backwards. Lorenzo Julius picks it back up. We haven't seen Sayaya return after that head knock. We have got there, Ruben would have been in. Rennie was there way back instead of Scott. Oh, ball goes over the top to Lucanio Arm. Fires it on again. Now running down the wing. There's a nice attacking position here. Zimbabwe close to the sideline as South Africa A try and drive them over the sideline. Same with Pollard, says JJ Maritz. Yeah, people very quickly forget that McKenzie was a game changer off the bench for New Zealand all throughout last year as the impact guy who was turning around games and helping New Zealand get victories. But it's a little bit similar to Caleb Clark. You know, people just go, oh, no, he didn't have the best Super Rugby season, even though statistically he actually had a pretty solid one. You taking Monday off to do a live breakdown of the squad? I think I'll be off Monday anyway, so yeah, probably. Well, I'm probably going to do the live stream and then maybe a video afterwards, potentially. No one will return after a kick to the head like that, says Albert. Nor should they be allowed to. And we have got, please answer a question, teacher. What's the question? Line out for Nebeleli. I think Nico Stain is the only player who has made his way onto the field, with the exception of Lorenzo Julius, of course. The ball is still on the side of SAA. Now trying to go for the kick of mine was Lukanya Wan, but it's charged down by Zimbabwe. They've now got the ball back on their own 22, just struggling to make the meters at the moment. Unfortunately for the side, they have been trapped inside of their 22 for quite some time. Now Muduriki again, looking for the options on the right-hand side. Let's try and set up his kicking angle. We have their DMAC have been in Bowden more than DMAC. Or people have been in Bowden more than DMAC. Yeah, Bowden's taken a fair amount of stick as well. And once again, people forget what he has been able to do in an All Blacks kit. Now going short side, chance down the wing. And I think Jaco Williams somehow stayed in the field of play there. He is now in touch, but that was incredible, the way that he somehow dodged two players. He's been crushed underneath humanity in the breakdown. He's not the biggest player, Jaco Williams, and he certainly felt the brunt of a couple of big Zimbabweans trying to push him over the sideline. D-Mac had a shocker, but he's better than one performance. Exactly right. Like, he's going to be in the All Blacks, and I know that people are going to go, oh, he shouldn't be because one bad game, but he will be. And we have got there, Kiwi Rob, sorry dear, you are so triggered over Ruben Love making how you hate for him shine so bright, says QQQ. I tell you, it's basically why they don't want to give credit to Pacific. That's why South Africa got up. Really, they don't have that, says Cyrus. How old's Aaron Smith? I think he's like 35, somewhere around there, Aaron Smith. Hang on. Aaron Smith, he is 37, sorry, a bit older. Looks like Jaco Williams. Is he going off for the injury here? No, he's given the thumbs up. It looks like he's going to try and continue in this matchup. A few stoppages throughout this game so far. That next game between South Africa and the Barbarians, it is less than 2 hours away from kicking off. Aaron was mainly a 15-14 before last year, wasn't he? Well, he's not actually a 14. That was where they decided to play him for like a couple minutes near the end of a match on his debut, but he's not a 14. He's a 10 or a 15. He prefers 10. He was playing more so 15 for the Canes because of them already having Brett Cameron, Harry Godfrey, and those type of players. And also, I think they had Garden Basham at that stage too. But yeah, he's much happier playing 10, and that's where he actually would prefer to play. Advantage now in favour of the Zimbabweans at scrum time. Moving across Houston. Now Mifure, he goes for another kick of mine. There's actually quite a few times that he's gone for the kicks, and that one's just going to keep on rolling. They'll go right back for the penalty advantage. Merida is done. McKenzie is still an All Black. But Richie will be the starting 10 for New Zealand at the World Cup, while Ruben Love will be on the bench. Who's captain A? Are they actually pick it right? A coach couldn't even pick the right captain, says Cyrus. As in, like, who's captain for the All Blacks? I think Artie Savi is probably going to have that accolade for the year. Needling for share. Just a little bit confused about that scrum call. Yeah, he's not happy about it one bit. He is yelling at a touch judge now, asking how he can be penalised for it. It gives Zimbabwe with Bruce Houston a chance to kick this one into touch. One's gone out. If Zimbabwe can score at least one try in this match, that would be a massive boost to this side's confidence. I will mention anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more rugby coming up in the near future. There are actually, I know that we talk about the main international games taking place between the top 12 sides, but Zimbabwe will be in action throughout July as well. They will have their games up against other sides in terms of the second tier of the World Cup. And I think some of those games are going to be free to air, which is great news as well. Big driving tackle from Ahmed, getting the shot in nice and early. Back across to the right. Chip attempted in behind from Houston again. And it's another knock on from Zimbabwe by the looks of it. Or is it? No, that ball's ended up. Okay, attacking team that's actually given the ball to Zimbabwe. What is the games next week except for the top 14? Māori All Blacks versus Japan XV. Barbarians versus Wales. And the under-20s rugby champion or under-20s world championship is starting up as well. About 34 minutes remaining. We've got there. They don't want to show Māori or Pacific as a strong leader. Oh no, that's for the Mulsboliana off, so that Richie could be first to 100 AB's caps. And also, it would be grateful for a drawn series against South Africa. Yeah, I think that New Zealand would take 2-2. Like, and I know that's something that some people would go, no, that's a negative mindset. But like, you know, drawing a series in South Africa, that'd be pretty solid. Definitely if they are able to beat all of the provincial teams beforehand. Ball's in for Zimbabwe. Mutariki on a way to the left. This is, again, one of the... I was about to say one of the better Zimbabwean attacking chances, and then they drop the ball straight away. Who's been Barbarians playing? The South Africans. They're playing the Springboks. And Colby will go to the goal kicking against Barbarians, according to Rassi. Says Albert. And also, Hamish, what's your prediction? I think that South Africa are going to score a few more points in this game. They've had 5 handling errors in Zimbabwe compared to the 8 of South Africa A. And we have got there, can you please say horn can kick? Just so Mohadeen can stop asking the same question on repeat. Says Jason. I hadn't actually seen the question, to be fair. I'm missing a lot of messages today, and people are getting angry about it. Scrum feed now. I think 32 minutes left on the clock. I think that Niddling Fouché is going to really go for a big old scrum here. He'll be fired up after that last one that he was penalised for. The ball goes in. Though it seems like it's holding solid. In fact, very good scrum. Although now the advantage going the way of South Africa. I think that might have been the near side. Yes, it was. The loose head. And Mapunga, the man who is penalised for that one. Zimbabwe aren't going to win a single match. And the Rugby World Cup, are they? I think they'll give Tonga a good go. And I do think that, well, depending on where Wales are at, because no one really knows what to expect from Wales. Although, to be fair, even though Wales have been struggling, they normally don't go too bad in the World Cups. You know, last year, I think they made it to the quarterfinals, right? Where they did play up against, the year before, 2023 anyway. They played Argentina, right, in the quarterfinals. Can you say, or please say Fuff? You don't South African scrum half and a South African accent, please. Says QQQ. Well, he is going to be playing off of the bench in the game up against the Barbarians. A long awaited return of Fuff to Clerk. Another penalty to South Africa A. Zimbabwe just starting to let the discipline leak a little bit here. We have it there, Colby. Has been doing all the kicking for his Japanese club in the past year. And we have it there, lead position Prime Minister. Says Cyrus. Kicked in a touch now by the South Africans. Chance here for Nebeleli. And we have got there. Do you want to talk more about the game and less about the All Blacks? Says Kevin. Well, to be fair, this has been a very stop-start to the second half. We've had pretty much no action throughout the first 9 minutes. Hopefully soon it's going to turn around, but all it's been so far is dropping the ball and giving away penalties. But we always try and fill in the gaps. But now making his way onto the field here. The number 18 jersey, Handro Jacobs. Big solid boy. As a replacement tie here, Benebelele now with the line-out throw. I see taken. And all stolen there by Zimbabwe in terms of the line out. Now pick and go attempted. And getting wrestled towards the sideline. For the steal was Pepsi Buthelezi. He scored South Africa tries, and who was kicking the goals? So the kicking of the goals is from Ahmed, another knock on from Zimbabwe for the 57th time of this half. There will be another scrum feed for South Africa, another stoppage in this contest. But yeah, Ahmed's been kicking. He is sitting 3 from 3. He also scored himself a try. And then alongside that, we've seen Marcus Muller score and also Hassim Pede. And also we've got there. So what do you want, or what do you do from here if you're Zimbabwe? Catch the ball would be a brilliant start, because the last 5 times that they've touched it, they've butchered it every time. So to have any chance of coming back in this game, they have to sort out that handling. Or else South Africa A, who we did just see get a scrum penalty advantage, they'll slowly just wear them down. Arm definitely passed his best bad game today, says JJ. Yep, this ball's going to be put in for Nico Steyn. Going away to the left-hand side for South Africa. Lucanio arm, good heavy carry there from him. Few post contact meters as well, getting them on the front foot from the get-go. Now Pepsi Buthelezi. Good strength shown there by Bruce Houston. Zimbabwe looking for the steal and the breakdown, not quite able to get it. Who in your eyes of the South Africa A has put their hand up? Oh, big shot. Again, coming in. I would say, well, the thing is, there are guys who have put their hand up, but I also do think there are guys who are too young and too green to go into the main team as of yet. But I think that the 9-10 combination has worked extremely well. Now, Ahmed going for the chip in behind. Oh, that's a dirty, dirty tackle from Ahmed there, and he's probably going to get himself sent to the bin here with at least a yellow card. Mafura is hurt at the back. I want to say it wasn't intentional from Ahmed, and I think one of the Zimbabweans just said that to him as well. But just the way that he came through underneath the player in the air looked brutal. Hopefully, he's going to be all right. Okay, they're just saying there that they did have the advantage for South Africa, but the player has been taken clearly in the air with foul play, and Ahmed is world class. He might almost get himself a 10-minute break here, just to have a bit of a spell. How's your experience of using DStv Supersport? It's really blurry, but like it's just clear enough that I can catch a number every once in a while. But like it's still much better than nothing, if that makes sense. Like I can still see what's happening roughly. Yeah, I'm curious as to why it hasn't kicked into like being super clear, seeing as everything else seems to be running smoothly. Oh yeah, that's actually quite bad from from Ahmed, sorry. Like that was an example of a young player making a mistake. Sounded like someone was talking in my living room, but no one's here. Interesting. Oh well, hopefully they wait till after the stream to rob me. But yeah, that's going to be an ugly collision there. And I would say more than likely, this is going to be a yellow card for Ahmed. Okay, clearly taking him in the air. And it's going to be the yellow card for Ahmed. And best watch along commentator pro level all the way. Thanks so much, says Creative Chef. Thank you very much. Yeah, so Ahmed's going to be off now for the next 10 minutes. We have you there. That's unlucky. Usually it works good, says Hayno. Time left, please. Currently 28 minutes remaining. But yeah, it says that it's set to like the highest quality. I think it might just be because of the VPN. It's trying to not like fire it up too much, if that makes sense. 28 minutes left on the clock now. Mr. Kiwi Sir, the weekly question is what we want to know. Did you build any mansions this week? I did not. It rained for quite a bit of this week, unfortunately. Houston. Sit into touch. Zimbabwe want to break the 0. Who's kicking now? They haven't had a kick yet, so we don't know. But Ahmed only just getting yellow carded. That could have actually been much worse, though, to be fair. And you can see the reaction from the South African coaches. They knew that it was more than likely going to be a card against their fly half. Zimbabwe in possession of the ball now. Houston going across to the left-hand side, linking up with Mashawi. Now firing across. This is a bit of space and some good pace shown from Mafura. And again, Zimbabwe dropped the ball. It goes everywhere, bro. I think about all the people gone from these lands there, Cyrus. Are there any mansions in Waimea? I think so. I have to go check the next time I'm there. But there'd be a few around, I think, or like relatively big buildings. I think Giggle come on Zimbabwe, says Candy. You know, they broke the line again. That's the worst thing. They're actually doing a lot of things right on the attack, except for the basic fundamental of catching the ball when they get it past to them. Because that was a clean break that could have led to something really good. Waimea is the cheapest petrol. Does it? How much is the petrol there at the moment? How do I find that out? Is it the cheapest petrol? We have got there. We don't know what to expect of Wales apart from not too much. I'm a bit behind. Says Fleshin. And come on, my Zimbabwe countryman, says Adam. And it does, says the real Ando. Huh, well, there you go. And Hamish. As in like that, it's got me as well. It doesn't currently have me. I'm away. We have there. Cost of petrol is more of a game, says Candy. But now scrum fee around the halfway line. So many handling errors in the second half. I'll be honest. It's been such a stop-start 13 minutes. It's felt like about 40. But hopefully we get some smooth sailing here. No points have been scored since that Hassim P try in the first half. Now Nico staying, going away to the left-hand side. Miller looking to link around. Oh, it was almost another handling error. Luckily being able to recover just in time. Lukanyuam looking for the kick in behind of his left boot. Zimbabwe going to be under pressure, bouncing the ball. What's he done there? Oh, a beautiful sell of the dummy, but he's also still under pressure here. The right winger and Trevor Gurve. I don't know why, but they take pride in it. Is that like North Island or South Island, Waimea? Because I know there's two. Zimbabwe wins, says 40. That one does go into touch. So again, South Africa A will have themselves an attacking line out. A decent part of the field. Again, it just hasn't quite opened up in terms of the second half as of yet. Looks like a change is just now being made. That seems like a Ben Jason Dixon coming on. Oh, Ben Jason Dixon with a new haircut. By the look, no, that's not Ben Jason Dixon. Actually, that looks more like Ardre Smith out of... Yeah, it is Ardre Smith. Ben Jason Dixon not actually playing in that number 19 jersey. We're having to see Yaya, and does it look bad? It looked really bad. He got kicked in the face by his teammate while he was on the ground and got knocked out. But hopefully, he will be... I don't think he'll be playing anytime soon, like in terms of the next couple of weeks, but hopefully he recovers all right. Rolling more here for SAA again. Moving into the 22 of the Zimbabweans. And thanks for this. I'm in Oz and couldn't find anywhere to watch this. Yeah, see, I thought Stan Sport would have got the rights to be able to show this game. Been told to use it once, now going away to the right-hand side. Lukanyuam again looking for a kicker behind. That one bounces away from his teammates. That's now, I think, the second or third time. But again, another knock on from the Zimbabweans that has just given it straight back to South Africa A. Now Nico Stain popping it up to the right-hand side. Very close to the try line now. The South African side. Ardre Smith waiting on the side, but they don't end up going to him. Brian Fenter joining the breakdown to keep it on the side now. This time could have gone to Smith, but Nico Stain goes himself. He's very close to the line. In fact, he's got it down, and Nico Stain gets the try off of the bench. Slow moving water's close, said Cyrus. But Nico Stain here has brought a little bit more into the second half. 55 minutes in and now 28-0. For the South Africans, a nice easy kick here as well. Just talking about the injured players, Monty van den Berg being one of them. See a recent return, though, for Faf de Klerk. Grant Williams, he's been an interesting one this season. He's had a few injuries as well. But Guilherme will be the kicker now. There's his first kick of the day. And it is a successful one. 28 after 56 minutes. Currently going at a point every 2 minutes. As always, thank you for your commentary. I'll be with you all day, says Robert. And yeah, we've actually got quite a long build-up for that next matchup. I decided, seeing as it's the first game of the year, why not do like a big hour build-up? We'll talk through the squad. We'll talk about who the guys are from this game. Could potentially make their way into the Bok environment throughout July. As Mulliking, no, it was Guilherme. Has Zimbabwe been training hard on knock-on, as they appear to be really good at them? And Siaya says, old rank, yeah, the man who was out on the left wing in this contest. So, yeah, he got knocked out earlier on in the game. That is where we saw Lorenzo Julius. Oh, wow. Okay, so Ahmed's yellow is upgraded to a red card. And it's going to be a 20-minute red now for the youngster. Be frustrated about that one, but yeah, it was a really dumb challenge in the air. Luckily, the Zimbabwean player didn't land as badly as he could have. We have got another Stain. I must run in the blood, Francois Stain with the 60-meter drop kick. And hopefully it's not going to be a cricket score, as the Boks are formidable at the moment, says Adam. And also, what's with the knock-ons? Are they using the standard size ball? I assume so. But it's don't get me wrong, South Africa have had their few handling errors throughout this game too, but Zimbabwe seem to be knocking it on every 5 seconds currently. They have got the ball back now in the breakdown though. Nice steal from Marioma. Now pick and go again. Best chance of the day for Zimbabwe to be able to score. Up against a 14-man South Africa. Going to cut back in off the wing. Knock on handling, says Kodak there. And what time does your Barbarian stream start? It starts in 33 minutes time. So we have about a 10-minute break in between this stream ending and the next one firing up. Which is going to be an hour before the game kicks off too. Now a bit of space here. Maviseri. Oh, beautiful offload on the outside. Very close to the sideline. Keeping the ball alive, and a big chance there. Just dragged down short for Mishawi. Now Maviseri passes the ball in behind Mafura. Has to clean it up. Now back across. Mudariki. In a good position currently, Zimbabwe, but they have to make the most of it. This is not the Zimbabwe national team. National team is playing in Bulawayo. And now that's why there is no live, says 40. Back across to the right. With the man advantage, like I said, this is the time to strike. Get yourself on the board if you're Zimbabwe. Just start to try and mount some sort of comeback opportunity. You can go on off the left, but Muller managing to shut down his opposite number. Now Matariki. They're losing meters at the moment, the Zimbabweans. They also haven't got any penalty advantages in recent times. Selling a dummy there from Sigaki. And, it was almost a chance to steal for Vincent Tichuka. The collision again on Utiti. They're slowly going backwards, the Zimbabweans. South Africa can form about 3 really good teams. That being said, Zimbabwe is actually doing well to keep the score this low. Cricket score is not out of the question for South Africa, says Chris. And Madariki always tried the box kick here to Zimbabwe. It's Jason after it, but really nicely done by Gulmedi, who was hit quite late. In fact, it was Nico Stain who got up and underneath it. Will the next game be on Sky? The next game is on Sky here in New Zealand, which is great news. So a lot of you guys who do want to watch that Barbarians matchup up against the South Africans who do have Sky will be able to witness that one. That one's kicking off in 1 hour, 30 minutes time. Our next live stream for it, though, is going to be starting in 30 minutes. Have you ever eaten chicken sausage? I had it and it's not bad at all. I don't think I've had a chicken sausage. I've had a few other, flavors of sausages. But, yeah, I can't think if I've had a chicken one. They have, chicken bacon and whatnot, too. I've never had that. I might try chicken bacon. That kind of is something that confuses me, but it should be good, right? Zimbabwe doing this bad? And then we have to talk about sausages. Yeah, they keep dropping the ball, unfortunately. And we've got another stoppage here just due to injuries. It looks like the knee currently is being analysed. We have got there, you put worse in your mouth. What, then a chicken sausage? Probably. 28-0 currently with 60 minutes gone on the clock. Another 20 minutes remaining. And read my last chat, please. What did you say? My All Blacks win the Highlanders, 1 Ethan de Groot, 2 Angus, 3 Holland, if not injured, 4 KC, 5 Tavatava Nawai, Jacob Ratamoita Vuki Newkin. So you're sticking 6 Highlanders in the AB squad. Be a fair few. But they are just trying to check on the injuries again of both these sides. The last thing that you want is to lose a whole heap of players in this matchup. I had non-pork bacon in Qatar. It's bloody awful. See, I would have thought it would just be similar to, like, I guess chicken bacon I would think would just be taste like chicken. But maybe it's not, because I guess it's salt cured, right? Line out throw here for Mandioma. Just show us the game, not your face. Game's on DSTV, so be sure to go over there and find it. Nice take there, but not straight. And the line out for the Zimbabweans. Oh, okay, it's actually going to be a free kick to Zimbabwe due to South Africa A closing the gap. I'll go away to the right-hand side now. They can run again, tackled by Ruben van Geeren. Array Smith has already made his way onto the field too, so the two Stormers. Now inside ball, that's better from Zimbabwe. Like they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable out there currently. They just have to avoid any sort of handling error now, though. So Raha, that's a big two-man tackle there. And that is a massive counter ruck. Nebalele has popped up with the ball. Now Ruben van Geeren, that looked a bit high. In fact, that looked very high on that man. Now, kicking this one in behind, trying to get that territory game going again. Zimbabwe claimed this ball only just out from their line. That was really weird. He was trying to get a kick going, and his teammate kept on blocking him and stopped the kicking opportunity. Now to the middle of the field. Ball still on the side of Zimbabwe. This time they decide to kick it down with Madariki, but the counter-attacking chance. Lorenzo Julius, early tackle on him around the bootlaces by Utiti. Lukanyu arm moves it on to Gulomi. 22 out. Nico Stain. Cross to the right-hand side again. Been good ball security from South Africa throughout this contest. The way they're getting in these breakdowns and stopping the chance of a turnover. Just as I say that, they give away a penalty for not releasing. So that was the worst timing to have said that. How full is the stadium? Not very. Hopefully it gets a little bit more full as the day wears on, because there is also going to be the Barbarians game taking place at this location up against South Africa. Just arrived, and the first thing I heard is chicken bacon tastes like chicken. Absolute world-class commentary, says Justin. Yeah. I'm going to probably have to go get some chicken bacon at some stage just to see, because it'd be confusing. I still haven't had like decent biltong either, but I think they sell that at the supermarket now too. But it might not, it's not like South African style. I think it's like, it's New Zealand, but South African inspired. And we have got there, Caswars are the way to go. The most delicious sausage on the planet, says John. And Zimbabwe should use this game for a great learning chance. Those mistakes could have gone unnoticed to serious games, says Kudak. And also Al Yuhano, says Mohadin. Another line-out throw here for Zimbabwe this time. Don't sleep on bacon jam, mate. Delicious on a beef burger. Yeah, I don't mind bacon jam. Although I probably haven't had like the good stuff. You know, on the halfway line, another big shot. It seems like South Africa are defending like absolute menaces at the moment in terms of the power that they're putting in. But some much needed possession here. Mafiseri touching the ball for the Zimbabweans. That was a bit high, but he was dipping downwards, so I think it's just going to be ruled. It's a normal challenge. Imagine Zimbabwe winning the World Cup. Says Mataz. Back across to the right again. Oh, no, look, pass gets risky business for the Zimbabweans. Now up to halfway, Are Smith. And also, I believe... Okay, so Titi tried to run over the top of him, and Are Smith pretty much ripped him backwards. Oh, good short ball, breaking the line now. There is a man in support. Chance to run up the middle of the field. Big lobby ball over the top. And a knock on from Zimbabwe again. They got close, but again, it just slips out in the final moments. We have got, there's the thing, Hamish. Would you rather try a buriwal or chicken bacon? Probably chicken bacon, probably easier to get here. We have got there, Zimbabwe win the World Cup would be awesome, says Big Rig. Yeah, there's some huge shots coming in. Well, Titi tried to fend on Are Smith and then got driven backwards by Vincent Tachuka and Smith there. Another treatment. It's Gary Porter this time by the sounds of it. Adrian Garvey represented Zimbabwe and South Africa internationally. Says Adam. Been a lot of stoppages in the second half, ladies and gents. We are currently sitting around 63 minutes through. And it is stopping again. I think Are Smith has a big future ahead of him, proper mongrel. Says JJ Maritz. How many runs do you think we need, Mr. Hamish? I have no idea, to be honest. I know that they had about a 100-run lead in the first innings, but I haven't actually had a chance to watch pretty much any of that test match as of yet, other than like the first session. So anything over 400 is good, but I don't know where they're at the moment. I think they're close to that, so maybe they need even 500. We have here there Canes versus Leinster in a neutral venue. Who is taking it? Says Adam. Don't know. Like, the Hurricanes, if they play like they did up against the Chiefs, you'd think would take it. But then Leinster also had a very solid showing up against the Bulls. So it depends on defence, I would say, and how well Leinster can shut down the Hurricanes' backline. Now will be the scrum feed for Nico Stain. 419-run lead, 319 for 6. There's a lot of screaming going on in that scrum. Both front rows stand up. And we're going to get another reset. Hamish put on the viewership numbers. Says 1 p.m. Bosch. And we are going to be here just around the corner as well for South Africa versus the Barbarians. That game could actually look a similar scoreline. 28-0 is not bad. Well tried, Zimbabwe, says Isaac. Yeah, I think they'll be relatively happy with that. Definitely because of the numbers that I mentioned in terms of the knock-ons and whatnot. A lunch on day 4 in about 50 minutes and come on knock on, says Michael. Staines had a pretty solid showing since making his way onto the field. And with the fact that there are a few injuries around the place, in terms of the 9 jersey, no Morne Vandenberg this year. Does Faf de Klerk make it to the World Cup? Or is it going to be someone like a Pede or a Stain? One of these guys getting the chance. Another penalty awarded, this time to South Africa A in the scrum. Imagine the amount of knock-ons. I have been imagining them and I've been witnessing them. And unfortunately, it's a very large number at this point in time. Now, Gilumi, he has taken over kicking responsibilities due to that red card of Ahmed. This one will be about 43 metres out. Whereas Faf these days, he's actually off the bench in the game up against the Barbarians. 4.5 overs till the second new ball. Yeah, that one just, it seems like the pressure of the South African scrum is making it very difficult. There's a big push as well from Ollie Reid on the loose prop side. Now Liam van Wyk. Titi also making his way off the field for Burnett. And Jalbert comes on for Mudariki. This one's rolling nicely. For South Africa, Liam van Wyk hanging on to it at the back with Reid on his flank. Well, that's going to be defended. No, never mind. Defended illegally. And that is going to be the advantage now in favour of the South Africans, and they get the penalty. Seeing the Bombs get dominated by New Zealand in cricket is like a sweet tonic for us South Africans. Bombs live in the delusion about how good they are at sports. Let's go the Black Caps. Yeah, although they beat us in the first one, didn't they? At Lords, they got past New Zealand. They were up 1-0 heading into this one. But New Zealand definitely needed to make it 1-1. Did you know Nathan Smith is dating Amelia Kerr? Yeah. And I know that mainly because of the fact that he isn't allowed to have his social media without it being limited in terms of posts, because he constantly gets people threatening him saying that they want to marry Amelia Kerr rather than him. So, fun times for him, I guess, dealing with that. Now, rolling maul now. I'm going to use it off to the left-hand side. Will be Ahmad Khan. And now straight through and scores again. We have got them Bros Papiers by far the best South African scrum half. I don't know why Rassi never picks him. Says, oh, not there. Yes, he's probably been pretty unlucky, hasn't he? Because the chances to play him probably were in the Barbarians games each year. But both times he has been unavailable from the Bulls being in the final. Who scored the fourth try? Fourth try of the match would have been scored by... it was Nico Stain scored the first, and the fourth. They've just scored their fifth here too, and it is Ahmad Khan who has crossed the try line there. Now 35 points to nil after that kick from Guilherme has gone over. Hamish, fix your tie, says Martin. What's wrong with it? It's inside of my shirt. Now we have got there. I can't watch Test match cricket anymore. T20 spoiling us with a shorter, higher entertainment factor, says Xander. We've just seen here all of the halfbacks have scored for the South Africans. Why don't the All Blacks play Barbars a lot? Normally it's because they're tied up with their own window. But, like, we've seen the All Blacks XV play the Barbarians. Yes, we can, says Toby. And I put a bet for Zimbabwe to score at least 2 tries. My rent money is gone, says Mataz. They haven't got a lot of time remaining. They've got 12 minutes to try and get something on the board at the moment. Mark Khan, again, box kick here. And another knock on from the Zimbabweans. Now Guilherme, he's looking for the 50-22, sees a huge amount of space at the back and does get that 50-22. Brilliantly done from the young fullback. He's had a solid game out there on the park today. Oh no, sorry, taken back. So no 50-22 in fact. Amelia Kerr can do better in my opinion. What, based off like your attractiveness factor of Nathan Smith? Or in terms of like his personality or what? It looks like the injury at the moment for Mafura. So another bit of a stoppage here. Match update says Kodak currently 35-0 after 68 minutes. Is the Zimbabwe team going to the World Cup? They are, yes. So they have got games up against England, Wales and Tonga. Taking place in around 460 days' time, I believe it is. Now, kicking from inside of his own 22. It's a good strike too from Jalbert. I think they're just checking to see if that ball was already out. I think it's with developmental games. The score is irrelevant. The main thing is to learn and get better. They might as well take down the scoreboard. And Guilherme is very impressive. Yeah, he's done extremely well. Definitely when you consider the fact that Zimbabwe are quite a physical side. You know, he isn't the biggest player at the back, but he certainly packs a punch. He's defended well. Also had some brilliant attacking chances. Array Smith wins the line out from Liam van Wyk. Now up to the halfway line again here. Ahmad Khan under a lot of pressure from the Zimbabweans. They couldn't quite get that counter-attack as the match going. Currently 35 points to nil with 10 minutes remaining. Can't believe Hurricanes gave Chiefs rugby lessons this morning. Yeah, it was way more one-sided than I think anyone really wanted. Now Khan. Box kick again. Nice take under the high ball as he runs onto it for Aidan Burnett. And the Sables. Some needed possession once again. They just need one backline to work. Sorry, how is the match? As in like if it's good or not? It's been decent. Other than the clear thing that has been handling. How's Marcus Muller done so far? He scored a try in the first half off a bit of a breakaway. Second half, I haven't really seen him, to be honest. He's making a tackle here, or at least trying to. He's just dragged him down. 460 days to go to the World Cup. Geez, better start training. I might need catching practice with the Zimbabwe team, says Jason. And a little disappointed with Zimbabwe, says Kevin. Up to 7 phases in a row here, though, and this now seems like they're going box kick. Rolling it back across. Now Houston. Oh, rush defence from Lorenzo Julius. You can see the snappy pace of South Africa each time that they do make their way forward near the line. Amolo has been disappointing. Doesn't work at 12, says WLK. And sure, they really do need that catching practice, says Brandon. Good kicking behind. But inside of the 22 again, Guilherme is back. And gets some good distance on it to pop it into touch. Just jumped on. Who scored the tries for South Africa? Thank you, says User. So far, we've seen the tries from Hassim Pede, Ahmed, Marcus Muller, Stain off the bench, and then also Ahmad Khan. So all backs. Not a single forward has scored in this game. They're just showing there the Barbarians arriving. Duan van der Merwe, Andrew Callaway, Franco Molina, the big Argentine. Should be quite a good game, to be fair. Hopefully, anyway. The fingers crossed. We are going to be starting our build-up for that game in 14 minutes' time. This one has almost taken 2 hours to get through. We've had a lot of stoppages due to players being down and all sorts, but now Zimbabwe on the halfway line. Stein missed the tackle. Why didn't he pass that? Looked like it was a 4-pass-2 from Zimbabwe, just delaying the pass a bit too long. Play on is the call, though. Out to the left. How was your man of the match so far? I'd probably give it to Guilherme, to be fair. Now back across to the left. Trying to spin out of the challenge of R. Smith. To the right once more. Jabeur goes to Mafura. Grab it in behind. This is a good chance. Can't keep the ball in. Knocks it on. Down the wing. And you can see the frustration for Zimbabwe. As every time they almost score, they just do something wrong. This is horrifying. South Africa's rugby is cooked, says Darius. So you are still aware, Darius, that this isn't like the main BOK team, right? This is South Africa A rather than anyone else. And is very quiet, says Martin. South Africa will beat the Barbarians, says Real Ando. And Zimbabwe hands are the man of the match. And also has New Zealand team name team against Italy? No. Not that I know of, anyway. But they are naming their squad on Monday for the ABs. Dave Rennie will tell us exactly who he's going to put in his squad. Now kick downfield from Nico Stain again. Nice take round the halfway line. How's Arm's performance since he hasn't been in action for a while in the national team? I think he's been solid enough. I think he's made a couple strange decisions when it comes to the kicks and whatnot. But other than that, I've actually been noticing him a lot defensively. Hey, it's another knock on from Zimbabwe. Or is it? No, they're going to say it's all right. Must have been knocked backwards. Now back across to the left again. Moving it on. I see taken there. Big driving tackle from Liam van Wyk. He managed to keep that ball just on their side. Rush defense from Lorenzo Julius, but it opens up the space on the outside for Zimbabwe to run down the wing, trying to grab it there, and it just gives the ball away again. Although Guilherme under pressure in the breakdown, Zimbabwe trying to get over it. They lose out again. Hasn't been the same since the injury. Who's the coach for this match? It is Stick, the man in charge. And yep, Zimbabwe didn't spill one. He's playing 10 now. I think at the moment they've got the Nico Stain, Ahmad Khan both playing 9 and 10 as like a little bit of a dual role. Oh, they might have been partially charged down to kick off Nico Stain. Oh, no, in fact, it is still going to be Zimbabwe's line out. 5 minutes remain now in this contest. And also, at least South Africa A's playing better than the Bulls, says Hardis. We haven't seen a close game this weekend yet. I've just had that realization. URC wasn't close. Top 14 match wasn't close. Super Rugby wasn't close. This one wasn't close. South Africa Barbarians, chance of that being close is actually very slim too. We might see one of the most one-sided rugby weekends we have ever witnessed, which is not good. Hopefully someone can at least take us into a second half with a game that is on the line. A lot more possession for Zimbabwe throughout the last, let's say, 15 minutes or so, probably since that period where South Africa were playing with only the 14. Another knock-on from the Zimbabweans. And now going for the chip and behind was Nico Stain. Seems like Zimbabwe will be able to get back, but an awkward bouncing ball does go into touch. Is Lorenzo on the wing or the fullback? I believe he's playing wing. In this case, out on that right wing at the moment anyway. And this weekend saw Pollard's downward curve and Moody, agenda 90-second mistake into a 40-minute sulk. Zimbabwe overhyped, says Anthony. And also, all the home teams that were in the final won the final, says Hardis. Yeah, I mean, it is the beauty of home field advantage, isn't it? We've got another stoppage here with injuries. They're showing the big man Klakani. He also had a very solid showing out there on the field today. The England 15 versus French 15 was close. Says WLK. But, was it close or was it? I thought that was split by like 3 or so tries, wasn't it? 1 second. We'll go like this. We'll go like that. Yeah, 35-19. So 16 points separating them still isn't that close, unfortunately. Although, to be fair, it's the closest we're going to get. Another knock-on from Zimbabwe. There's another scrum for the South Africans who are the try scorers. So we have seen Pede scored, Ahmed scored, Muller scored, Stain and Mard Khan are the ones who have scored. And go the Bok impressive even with a man down. Although they're back to 15 now. It was only a 20-minute red card. So they've been playing with 15 for a few minutes now. And also, no, it wasn't. The French 15 kicked England's ass, says Holdy. Zimbabwe playing their full-strength team? No, they've still got a few guys overseas. But there's still a pretty decent-looking side as a whole. Is Beast there to watch? The Great Bok was originally from Zimbabwe. I haven't spotted him as of yet. I'd like to think he might have come out to see the Zimbabweans in action though. Another big scrum, but another reset. Surprised the score is not double by now, says Grant. And who was the red card? Oh, what was the red card for and for who? So it was for Ahmed for taking a player out while they were in the air. It looked pretty ugly, and it was just a bit of a brain fade from him, unfortunately. He just got too aggressive and pretty much chopped a bloke down. Which I heard you showering naked. Is that weird? That's kind of what you're supposed to do, is it not? Or you're supposed to leave your socks on, maybe. Back with the G&T. And the Zimbabweans haven't scored yet, says Carlin. Yeah, and there's only 2 minutes remaining now as well. So hopefully something soon coming. I think more than likely, though, we might see another South African A try for the end of this contest. And Nico Stain looks off to the short side, gives it off to Lorenzo Julius. And finds the offload on the inside. Quit on me. Oh, no. He slips into touch. He's probably a player who does deserve a try with the way that he's been playing. But, again, another mistake. I don't understand Zimbabwe. They are failing knock-ons. It's annoying. Yeah, there's been a lot throughout this game. The second half has definitely felt less free-flowing, to say the very least, in terms of the way that this match has progressed. Like South Africa A, they were leading by a decent margin at halftime. And they also seem like they've slightly slowed down too. It looks like Zimbabwe here are going to try and get a rolling maul going from inside of their own 22. It's going forward, to be fair, on the short side. Chance here for Liam Larkin, although still in a headstand trying to stay in the field of play and somehow has. All right, hand side, 30 seconds left, 2 tries in 40 minutes. Says it was there from Cyrus. Now just kicking it down the middle of the field. Awkward bouncing ball. Nicely picked up by Yako Williams. And pure pace down the wing for him. He'll score it in the corner. Mistake from Zimbabwe near the end of the game. And they do get the final try of this game, South Africa A. Adriano has been very impressive this season. In games for the Sharks, says Dion. And Zimbabwe beat the All Blacks when we were called Rhodesia. So we are officially the only country unbeaten by the All Blacks, says Adam. And they cooked us left, right, and centre, says it was there from, is it Sangwa? But yeah, I think that this is still a very good learning experience for Zimbabwe. You know, there have to be positives to take out of this game, but one thing that they will definitely be working on is that handling. Because they've only, there was very few times that they reached 5+ phases. Do you see any of these A squad players playing for the Boks main team? Well, Xander, that's a good question. And we are going to be talking about it in the build-up of that South Africa versus Barbarians game. It is just around the corner from starting up. We are starting that stream in around 4 minutes' time. That kick has missed away to the side, but that is the end of the contest. And 14-0, the victory for South Africa A. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated you being here. Like I said, I've now got to get myself back to New Zealand in terms of location-wise, seeing as we had the VPN fired up for DSTV here. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We are coming back in 3 minutes' time. And that is going to be for our big hour build-up for the next match between South Africa and the Barbarians. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in a very short moment for the next stream.